From looking for greener pastures to sacrificing a life to achieve that. This is a story of a Ghanaian TikToker who did the unthinkable, even after all his victim ever did was to save him from unemployment. Known simply as John Alistair, this 22-year-old Ghanaian seemed to be like every other young person in the country. He had a seemingly calm social media life where he would share videos of him buying stuffs and also joining in popular music trends and audio memes. Not much was known about him aside the fact that he lived around East Legon and would do menial jobs in and around the city. Above all this, one thing was for sure. According to the post he made on his social media account, John hoped to have the good life of traveling to the best places, getting good clothes, and also sharing all this with a loved one. But one thing no one knew is that he probably swore that he would get to achieve this at any possible cost.
Be telling me don't call me again.
Now to many, John was a sweet young man that they would love to associate with. And although he lived a low-profile life, those who knew him had taken notice of a certain bad behavior which was related to the crime of theft. But this didn't pose any serious threat per se. However, this will all take a new turn when John thought he hit a jackpot. John was employed in the early parts of June 2023 by Afia Ahenkan, popularly known as Princess Avia. Now, she was the wife to the son of legendary Ghanaian footballer Reverend Osei Kofi. Osei Kofi's son and his wife Afia was said to have lived in London until she decided to come back to the country to own and manage her own businesses in Kumasi. Unfortunately, this venture to build her own business empire and also help people's lives whilst doing this would lead to her own death. It all started when Princess Avia's London-based husband went through the MMB Jobs, an agency that links well-to-do job seekers and employers. This was because his wife had neither a security guard or a housekeeper that would overlook the house whenever she was out for various businesses. And so in order for his wife to get to focus on her businesses, he needed a young and agile person who was going to handle both the security job and also be good at house management and keeping. He successfully found John Alistair, a 22-year-old young man who looked younger than his age. This was the perfect person. John was employed as both the security guard and the housekeeper. The deal was struck and payment was made, of which John's salary would be made to him by the agency. Now, it wasn't stated how he was paid, but I believe it might be every 2 weeks or a month. And added to that, John was given an apartment in the house where his employer lived. And in just 2 weeks, John had had a taste of the luxury life that he had always wished for. He had good food, a serene environment, and so much more. And so John decided that he was going to find a way to get a portion of that luxury for himself. If only there was someone else living in the house with Afia. But unfortunately, she was alone on the night that he took her life. According to the only witness, it was late on the 23rd of June 2023. On that Friday night, Princess Avia was having a conversation with her friend on phone. Now, minutes into the call, her friend heard Avia scream. Silence followed, and then in a matter of minutes, all her numbers were unreachable. This indeed was something to call the police for. Avia's friend went with the Ghanaian police officers to Avia's residence the next day, only to be met with a gory scene. Upon getting to the house, they noticed Avia's dog had been released to roam the compound. Her body was discovered in the garage, bloodied from stab wounds, and her car, unique belongings, including 4 phones, were missing. This was a case of robbery and murder. But in all this, one thing stood out. Princess Avia's housekeeper and security guard, John Alistair, was nowhere to be found. Did he commit the crime? Did he escape? Was he on break from work when the crime was committed? Or was he also murdered? Now, no one else knew an answer to this, but a manhunt for him was set out. 2 months had gone by, but John was still nowhere to be found, neither dead or alive. He was either dead or probably good at hiding if he had committed the crime. A public call made on the 8th of September 2023 intensified the search for him. John probably thought that he had gotten away with it, not until he was spotted and caught somewhere around East Legon, 250 kilometers away from Kumasi. This was when the heart-wrenching truth was uncovered. In a now viral video, detained on Thursday the 14th of September 2023, John Alistair confessed to someone who is believed to be related to Afia that he murdered the businesswoman with a sharp knife, stole $610, her car, and other belongings which he sold to better his own life. This was after people close to him revealed that he allegedly claimed to be a victim of a robbery after he called his friend minutes after committing the crime. On the call, he told them how robbers had attacked his deceased employer's place and how he had escaped to a new town. Turns out, he did all this using her phone to make the call. It is so unfortunate that this young man ruined his life over greed. And more crazy to even discover that all he stole and sold got finished in a matter of 2 months. At this point, he would either be given a death sentence or live the rest of his life in hard labor in jail.